Bethany Scott here, and welcome to my channel. Today I am actually doing something not cards. I am doing something, it's actually a remake of a video I did ages ago, which is my best glue tips for faux leather hair bows. I'll show you what I have on my desk here. I have my hot glue gun, which is a mini one, which I love the mini one for making bows. It seems to simplify life and everything. And my new favorite glue, which is it's not my new favorite, but this is what I've been using successfully for about a year now, and I like the results better than what I was using previously. This is the clear, make sure it's clear, E6000 Premium. It's just a little bit stronger than the other E6000s. I thought I was using the right thing a while back. I had switched over to I might still have some around here. Oh, yep. The quick dry, and thinking, okay, it dries in, 20 minutes and sets in 2 hours or 6 hours. I forget. It was a very low time versus 24 hours, which is what the rest of the E6000 line, or most of the E6000 line, that's what that dry time is. So the cure time on this specific, see if I can find it. So you need to allow 2 minutes before mating surfaces. I still don't do that, but I make sure that I allow the full 24 hours for curing, and it does state that you don't reach your maximum bonding until about 72 hours. So when you're making hair bows, plan to not be selling them the next day, because that's what I used to do. I would make them the night before, sell them the next day, and that's why that quick set worked better. And Dani's coming to visit me. Dani, you may say hi to everybody. Hi. But I personally love the E6000 Premium. It works so much better. It is a little bit higher odor, which I think is part to do with the strength that it has. Yes, sweetheart. Is this applying to my video?
So how can you make this glue?
So this is called hot glue, and it's my favorite hot glue. It is called the Gorilla Hot Glue. I got the mini. It was on some kind of special, and I just haven't stopped using it.
Put it on it?
Yep, so you put this glue stick in there, but it's not ready for one yet. So do you want to watch me do one?
Yeah.
All right. I have an assistant here. Can you grab the first bag out of my box? Thank you. So what I have here is the first couple of months out of the year, I like to pre-cut everything out. That means I am cutting my fronts, my backs, and my I guess we'll call it a strap. I don't know what else to call it. I like to do that now because I find myself throughout the year getting overwhelmed if I do too many bows at once.
Is there only one in there?
Yes, it only generally fits one at a time, but when it gets low, we can stick a second one in there. So my process currently is, you ready?
Yeah.
Can you hand me a black base? So I use the fatter one, wider one, and I always check it for any hairs, because especially when it's been sitting in storage for a few months, it may have gathered dust, it may have frayed. I always check and have a scissors on hand to cut it down. This is part of how I sell these hair bows. I still sell them year round. We are actually about to hit our peak season a week from today, in fact. And we will be selling a lot online, in person, and then the new thing this year is we have a permanent boutique. So as it's drying, I'm noticing. So I use the hot glue for this. This one is not needing. Yep. Thank you, Dani. It's not needing any kind of extra support. It's when it has a softer lining on the inside. It's not super smooth. I just generally use the hot glue. If it were something that were smooth on the backing.
So you do the hot glue on these two?
Yes, baby. Okay, so the next step is to hot glue this one together. So I just do a nice little dab in the middle, pinch and pinch. And then I kind of finger hold. I don't have really, I have a very high threshold for pain. So I don't recommend this for everyone. But yeah, I don't really feel the pain of the heat, and yeah, I've just become accustomed to it. So now I could use the E6000 in between these two layers. I'm gonna risk it because there's enough dimension, and there's a little bit of 3D embossing happening on the back layer. So I feel like, get out of here, girl. I feel like there's enough of texture that if I zoom in here, it's not great, but there's enough texture on the types of leather that it shouldn't be risking any kind of movement between the two layers. So I have learned to feel out what my materials are like. So now that these two layers have had a second to cure with the hot glue, I'm just going to do one more hot glue dab on the top. All right, Dani, I'm ready for you.
Okay.
And then I like to fold the bottom back first, just to keep... Can you go close the door, please? Your
Okay.
siblings are a little loud. They're playing very loudly today. And then I fold the top back down. So that allows me a little extra permanence there. Because most bows, if they're put in properly, they're put in top to bottom, so there's less chance of that. If you had the bottom down on the top layer, there's a way to explain it. I promise. But if the bottom layer were crossing over the top, there's more risk of it lifting off. So I've just learned through practice to always put the bottom loop up first, then the top loop over that. All right, so now I need one clip. Thank you. And what I do, this is very key, so I'm going to do it a little bit closer to you. I do one dab of the hot glue in the middle, and I do very tiny. Okay? Then what I do, and you'll see I put the clip part to the left side always when I do it this way. So that means the top, most people are right-handed. So when someone's putting it in, a person's hair, it's to the right. The clip is to the right. That's just a standard I do. Maybe it's too OCD, I don't know. I always keep the cap of the E6000 nearby because oh no, I don't want you to squeeze too hard. But what I do is I flip as I'm holding the middle. I'm not letting go. I'm not releasing the middle. I just put one. Nope, don't squeeze it. It comes out fast, so you don't want to squeeze it. I put one dab of the E6000, then I set it in my tray and grab myself. I need a clip now.
Yes.
I need a clip right now. Yep. Okay. And I clip it right under the bow. Okay. And then I turn while holding the middle still. Then I add another dab of the E6000. So, and then I cap right away because the E6000 will continue to spill out due to, no, you don't want to touch that. Don't touch it, babe. I need another clip though. So the E6000 will continue to flow out due to pressure of being pushed through. Okay, thank you. And then I clip it one more time like that. So this way, when it's drying, I lay it flat up So there's no drippage potentially happening if I were to lay it clip down. Drippage may possibly happen in the wrong direction. So at least the drippage will be aimed towards the bow. So all of the glue will be aimed towards the bow. You'll notice that, you know, I'm okay with a little bit of spillage of the glue on the sides. And this is probably a really bad example because the lighting is not showing the faux leather is a little too dark. So let's try it one more time. Let's try it with a different set. Okay. Dani, I need one that has a lot of glitter. Do you see a lot of chunky glitter?
I see one.
You see one?
Let me get them out.
Oh, no. Don't pull it out. Mommy needs it a specific way, please. Can you bring it where I can see it? Oh, okay. All right. So I need one big one. Okay. Then I need one star one. We're just going to do one at a time. One star one. You're my assistant. So find one star one and then one strap. So this one will do mostly the same with a small variation. So this one is chunky glitter, faux leather. Now, this will stay very nice to itself. It's a little smoother, but it still has enough texture. All right. And if I don't have the patience to hold it, I just clip it there. Okay, ready? I can't have you touching the glue though. So thank you for pre-folding it, but I can't have you touching the glue because I don't want you. No, baby, I don't want you to. Here, get another clip for me. How about that? Okay. And when I make it in bulk, what I'll do is I'll do the tops and the bottoms. Oh, okay. I'll do the tops and the bottoms, and then they already have their clips, their two clips. So a clip for the top, a clip for the bottom, and then I'll take the clips off, and then I will have my two clips already assigned to that specific bow. All right, so taking the clip off, this is when I will change things a little bit. So what happens with the chunky glitter, and you'll see I just cut down the glue, the overgluing. Nope, you can leave that in the bag. So what happens with the chunky glitter a lot of times, because it's so many layers, the hot glue will create one layer. And if there's too much tug and pull, it will lift easily. So what I've learned to do is that in the middle part, the E6000 works the best. Just for the middle connection between the smoother faux leather, which of course this has a little part I want to cut off. So I'm using that E6000 between the two layers first. And then I don't need to use it for the top loop. It's fine. But because you don't have that hot glue surface, it's easy to slip it. So I basically just don't let my hands slip. Got to be really pinchy for that. Okay, Dani, I don't need that bag yet. But the same concept, bottom first, top second. And that hot glue should hold those layers together well enough that middle layer shouldn't lift. I've had it happen occasionally, but it's less likely because that E6000, once it cures, please do not take the whole bag out, sweetheart. I love you, but please don't. Once that whole, okay, put them all back in. Once that whole thing dries, it's less likely. I still do the hot glue in the middle. I need a barrette. Oh, Dani, I need the clip. I need a clip, please. No, not that clip. Not a pink clip. The clip for the bow. Remember how your bows have a clip? Right here.
Oh.
Yeah, I need my assistant. So I still do the dab of hot glue in the middle. And so that's why for this type of bow, there's only one variation. I've learned a lot through playing with different faux leathers. Plus, my children are great examples of how to destroy things.
Huh?
Yes, you guys kind of rip some of these bows. And obviously, if someone's stepping on your bow, it's going to bend and break. That's kind of just an inevitable thing. That's going to happen with a store-bought bow. It's going to happen with a regular bow. But the goal is to eliminate any pullage or rippage from a child's hand ripping the bow out of their hair. So creating some type of longevity. And I've lost my assistant. Dani, where'd you go? So for the third example, I'm going to actually pull this one out. The third example is a faux leather I may never ever buy again. Can you pull me out one of the pink ones, one of the flamingo ones, and one of the straps, please? So there is this faux leather out there that is very smooth, very shiny, very beautiful. Oh, that one's broken. I need another one of those. See how it's broken right there? And I've learned that extra smooth, shiny vinyl, while super pretty, or faux leather vinyl, I should call it, super pretty, and it cuts really great on my Cricut, but it has just not enough texture. It's too smooth for regular hot glue. And so this is where it becomes extremely complicated because I can hot glue, but I hot glue with the E6000. So, which I've burned my hand so many times doing this, but I'm going to uncap the E6000.
You burned your hand once?
Yeah, a lot of times. Oh, I do need something from you before we start. I need another hot glue stick. We're getting low.
It?
No, I did not pause it. We are still going. No, don't touch it. It's hot, baby. Okay. I'm glad you didn't touch the hot part, but still. Okay, push it in. Nope, okay, that's it. It just sits. You don't push it too hard because then you start making it move. So what I do is the tiniest, and I mean tiniest, dab of glue. And then I throw the E6000 right on the sides. So a little dab on each side. This is how I've learned to help it hold longer. That tiny hot glue just helps it stick temporarily while the other part is fastening. So that means every layer that is next to this very shiny, very smooth, and I'll show you up close. It's not a whole lot different. Thank you, sweetie. But I definitely never, ever allow myself to have shiny with shiny. That smooth leather with the smooth leather never works. Does not matter what I use. So this is regular faux leather. It's lychee faux leather. It's got that little pattern in it. So this one's totally fine the way it is. It's a cute little flamingo pattern. But when I go to adhere this one, so one of two things. I either let it sit overnight so it has full time to cure enough for me to do properly. But when you're impatient and you have a child who wants to help you, I will do it in the I will release the clip in the hopes that you're not cutting all the things too, but in the hopes that I am not losing in the hopes that the hot glue will actually keep holding it. So, and sometimes it works and sometimes it does not, but I pinch it really good, and then I try not to burn myself here, but I do the same technique. One tiny dollop of hot glue covered by one and I just do, because it's only in the middle, I only need 1 dollop of, and it's starting to lose its grip. I can feel it slipping out. So, whew, I just made it. Then clipping it together, letting that hot glue set it, at least temporarily, knowing it's not a permanent glue. And then I try to, clean it up as I go, knowing that when I put my bows on their what's it called? On their packaging, when I package up my bows, I basically just make sure that I've cleaned up the bows so there's no hot glue strands, there's no E6000 sticking out of weird places, because no one wants to buy that. I mean, unless a kid is making it, they can't. Most people just will walk right through. So, you need a pen. Okay, give me a moment. So, it's dried for about a couple of minutes. Not a whole lot of time, but enough time that hopefully I will be able to pinch this well enough that it won't release. So, the next thing I do is a risk, always a risk, because it's worked for me most times, but not. But I take my strap, because usually my strap is the, whatever the backing is, that's usually what I use. That's the faux leather I choose. So you'll see the strap is the same, shiny, super smooth, no hardly any texture at all. What I do is I pinch it and hope I don't destroy it. But I will put a hot glue dab, a very tiny one, a hot glue dab. And the front is where I do not put, because I risk it every time, I do not put E6000. Why? Because there's too much slippage in my experience. Now, actually, this time, I think I might put a dab on the side, though. So I'll put a dab right where it's trying to grip on the sides. And then I double check my pattern. Okay. All right, crisis averted. So I have the E6000 on the sides. And then what I do for a temporary hold, again, is a little dab of the hot glue. Full warning, I've had it still not work. But it's worked more times than not. So I still use this process. And I allow my children to test them. So that the E6000 is on the side. And then I put a little dab of the hot glue just to temporarily hold the top down. But I will put the E6000 on the strap. And this is just my process to try to get it as close as possible. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But this is what works majority of the time when I have a more difficult glue to deal with. Now, putting the clip on these is very difficult. I do generally try to let this whole set dry overnight with just the clip holding it together. Why? Because it allows that all those top layers to cure. But I've done it also successfully without. So I'm going to show you how I do it without. So I do a tiny hot glue, and I let the hot glue sit for like 10 seconds while I pinch the side. I'm going to show you close. I pinch the side, release it, then hot glue to the bottom. And then I get my E6000 and hot glue to the middle. Why? Because if it's going to rip, it's going to rip from that strap last to completely lose the bow. If the sides rip, it's okay. The middle part is okay. But if your middle rips, then it's a wrap. So now then once I have that pinched real good, then I just go ahead and place that, make sure my clip is holding it properly, then go ahead and get my dab on the other side. Oop, and I'm off screen, but so sorry. Doing a dab on each side once again, just like the last bows. So that is the more complicated way, but it's also the way that works. And I also keep alcohol wipes nearby, because sometimes that the E6000 will get into places that you don't want the E6000. So before it's allowed to cure, while it's still sticky, you can rub it off with rubbing alcohol. But then, same thing, I let it dry upside down overnight, 24-hour cure. I can take the clips off mostly, usually between, well, for this, it's a full 24 hours. I will not release the clips. The other two kinds, I've released the clips successfully after 12 hours, maybe a little bit longer. Generally, I don't try to remove them any sooner than 12 hours. I like to have the clips holding them securely for at least 12 hours with the E6000. But there are times where, I'll risk it because I have a show and I have to get stuff boxed up. So that's what happens when I do things last minute, which is also why I cut early in the year, so that I can just not have to stress myself out like that. But anyways, I hope you've learned a little bit and didn't mind my little helper interrupting a little bit and enjoying the moment. Thank you, Danielle, for helping me. Okay. I really appreciate your assistance. Mwah. And, you need to use words. Okay. I've done this for a long time. Actually, I started creating these hair bows when she was just an infant, and I wanted to create something for her that was from me directly, and then people wanted to buy them. So I started making more and more and got, a little bit addicted to the hair bow making. And on my site now, I believe I have at least 30, 40, 50, 60 different styles. Some I created the designs myself, some purchased, and that's that. But I have done this long enough to experiment long enough. But if you've done faux leather hair bow making, drop in the comments. Please let me know, what do you use? I would love to know, and how successful it is, because I'm up for trying anything new. I am always appreciative of new information, and I really enjoy just experimenting to perfect my own processes. And that's just how I've gotten to my adjustments. This is probably my third or fourth major adjustment with my process of how I create in bulk. Usually most of my bows, I only create 4 or 5, or no, anywhere between 4, and depending on how much faux leather I can get of that design, between 4 and 7 usually is about roughly how many I make of each style. And then when it's gone, it's gone. Most often I can't even get that same exact design or pattern back into my store, or I just purchased it off of someone else down the way who isn't doing bows anymore themselves. So definitely let me know, what are you doing for your process, what works for you, and hopefully you found some of this useful, whether or not you do faux leather crafting or not. What do what can you use when you make bows for your paper cards too? Hopefully you learned a little bit. And I really appreciate you all being here and taking the time to enjoy what we have to share, right? We like having people visit. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to find the joy in your day, and happy making. Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.